Hello. Today's live broadcast is how can we fulfill our greatest potential? For those of you who have not met me before, my name is Alison and I'm the founder of Your Soul Family. At Your Soul Family, we teach techniques on how to feel more in control of your life so that you can be more effective at work and live more harmoniously at home. So how did I come about this? How did I find these techniques? Well, I was unexpectedly widowed in my 40s and I found myself with 2 children, a very demanding job and no husband or partner to help me. And I really was not coping at all well. So the techniques that we teach are really the ones I stumbled upon and found in trying to move my life forward from widowhood and to be having a life that I can enjoy. And I can say today, yes, not only am I enjoying it, I actually feel in control and things are good. So anyway, less about me. Let's hear a little bit more about you. So can you all hear it? Can you hear okay? Drop a comment, please. It all helps. It's all very encouraging. The other thing that's great to know is, where do you live? What city or town and what country are you listening from? And that includes the people that listen on replay, because that's where most of people hear this broadcast. So let me know. Let me know also whether you like these or not. Give me some feedback. It's really helpful. I will be monitoring it over the coming days on the replay to see what feedback you're giving. So let me know. That's good. So as I said, today's talk is about how can we fulfill our greatest potential. When this topic came up, the first thing that came to my mind was actually a picture of a beautiful poppy. It's a glorious red colour. It's a beautiful flower. And I think it shows great potential. Because not only is it a beautiful flower, it can give us medicines to help us to treat people that are ill. However, there is a second picture of a poppy where it's not achieving its greatest potential. So the drug heroin can actually be abused and create havoc in people's lives. And likewise, following the First World War, where poppies grew, where the trenches had been, where it turned up, the bombing turned up the soil and caused poppies to grow. So poppies can also be an emblem of war. So the potential of a poppy can be quite negative, or it can be about our highest potential. And a baby being born is equally beautiful as a poppy. So as this baby goes forward, which is you all started out as babies, are you going to have the negative connotation, or are you going to do things which achieve your greatest potential? So how do we go about doing this? Well, I think there are 4 steps that can help us to achieve our greatest potential. And a lot of it is about knowing who you are and where you are going with your life. So let me talk you through these 4 steps. And it involves many of the techniques that we use at Your Soul Family. So the first step is about seeking to gain the greatest insight into yourself that you can. In Your Soul Family, we do a number of exercises which help to drive out greater insight about you. So one of them is about looking at the highs in your life and what were the behaviours you were demonstrating in the highs in your life, and trying to understand the various things, events that have happened in your life and how you were behaving in them. Likewise, we look at some of the low points in your life And what behaviours were you demonstrating then? And we talk about, so if you're talking about the next chapter in your life, you want more of the behaviours that are the good, positive behaviours you had when life was good and everything was going well. And you might like to consider the behaviours that maybe aren't so helpful. And maybe what do you want to do to change those in the next chapter of your life? So we call them life lessons, the things that you want to change. And they aren't about big houses and fast cars. They're about behaviours. They might be things about like learning to listen or learning to define your boundaries. So, if you can learn some of these life lessons, you'll find that life becomes a little bit easier. And some of the challenges that arrive in your life to help you practice this life lesson will start to die down. So this happened to me in my business life when I was still working in corporate land, and I was getting increasingly difficult bosses, and they were constantly on me and challenging me as to what I was doing. And I needed to learn a life lesson about defining my boundaries and holding them. And it wasn't until I did that with my managers that then life started to become easier. So there's always life lessons for us to learn. And I think that gaining the insight into our life helps us to identify what those life lessons are. So I really do believe that we're not all born equal into this life, because we bring into this life different life lessons that we want to learn. So gaining insight helps us to know what they are. So that's step number 1. Moving on to step number 2, what we do in Soul Family is to create a soul map. A soul map is really a visualization of you and your life. It's a picture, and it consists of a circle with a smaller circle in the middle, which represents you. And around your soul map, round the outer rim, are soul family members, which are other little circles. And nearer to you will be other circles to represent people that are important to you, to your inner circle. So while we say soul members, they are really everybody that's important to you in your life. They can be blood family, adopted family, in-laws. It can be friends, colleagues and neighbours. Anyone that's important to you. Between those circles, we draw a line which represents a relationship. Now, relationships aren't easy because they actually ask you to be the best that you can be, the best maybe partner you can be, the best parent you can be. So because you're trying to stretch and demonstrate the behaviours that enable you to be your best, they are always a challenge. And when you go through your insight, learning about yourself, you will explore those relationships and explore what behaviours would make those relationships run better. So let me tell you about one of my students. She's called Kate and she's in her 60s. And she went through some of these exercises and she wanted to create her first soul map. And what she found is that with both her grandparents, she had a sense of anxiety and a feeling that she wasn't doing well with her grandparents. She actually felt that not with one, but with both her grandparents, they actually loved her brother better than her. And it gave her a sense of anxiety. They would give a bigger presents to her brother than to her. They would give greater attention to her brother. And she, even now in her 60s, could feel that keenly, and it gave her a sense of anxiety and it impacted her feeling of self-esteem. So when we looked at what was driving this, she started to realise it actually wasn't about her. She was actually giving her grandmothers an opportunity to learn lessons. One of them, the grandmother, actually just plain liked boys and men much better than she ever liked girls and women. And actually it was a learning for the grandmother that she should be balancing this up and she should be treating her granddaughter the same as she treated her grandson. And it was a lesson that she needed to learn. With the other grandmother, it was a little bit deeper in the sense that the grandmother favoured and gave more attention to her grandson because she thought the parents, her own daughter and her son-in-law, were focusing a lot more attention on her granddaughter, on Kate, rather than her brother. But the reason was this is because the parents had almost lost Kate in her childhood to a childhood illness, and they felt this constant need to cosset her and look after her and make sure that all was well with her. But the grandmother didn't realise that. So the relationship with her grandmothers was really nothing to do with Kate, in sense of they weren't favouring her brother over her because Kate was unlovable and not nice. It was just them learning a lesson and Kate was helping with it. When she understood the reason what relationship was like that, she felt a great sense of healing. She realised it wasn't actually about her, it was about the scenario. So gaining insight, I think, and being able to understand your relationships and put it into your soul map breaks down the barriers and the perceptions which are preventing you from achieving your greatest potential. So Kate was a very lovable, likeable person, and she need not fear or have any anxiety around that. So I think that's really important in terms of breaking through blockages. Do you agree with that? Can you relate to that? Drop me a comment, let me know, so that I can understand whether you're on the same wavelength and understand me. The next step is about learning to reflect on your soul map. So you have this wonderful picture that you've created and you've coloured, and doing that colouring brings in a calmness, so that soul map now is a space of calmness for you. If you reflect on your soul map, it does a number of things for you. It reminds you of your insights. It reminds you of the lessons that you're learning. You re-experience the calmness that you felt when you coloured it. And also it strengthens your connection with what I call your inner you. Now, your inner you, some people call your subconsciousness, your higher self, or your soul. But I think it's so close to you that I call it your inner you. It's so much part of you. And I think your inner you is your greatest friend in life. They're there always to help and to guide you. And they are surprisingly objective. My students are always amazed at how objective their inner you are for them, and actually brings a wisdom that they didn't know that they possessed. So reflecting on your soul map brings you back all those things, and those things will help you in your everyday life to achieve your greatest potential. You know what you're good at, you know what you're learning, and just by explicitly knowing it and focusing on it enables you to break through and to achieve a greater potential. So let's move on to the last step, which is about meditation. In some sense, the reflection on your soul map is a sort of visualization and meditation. But I always think that doing a quick daily meditation just helps you in your everyday life to achieve your potential. I always find it useful to make it part of your getting up routine. You wouldn't go to work without cleaning your teeth. So why not do a quick meditation as part of your getting up routine? The way I like to do it is after I've washed in the bathroom, I do a quick meditation, which is around my chakras. Now, your chakras are your energy points, which go really from your base of your spine up through your body, up through to the top of your head. And they go in colour from red to orange to yellow to green to blue to indigo and mauve. And what I like to do is I either sit or I stand in the bathroom, and I just, first of all, I give myself a shake to make sure those chakras are all aligned and working well together and the energy can move between them. And then I visualize and I feel energy from Mother Earth coming up through my feet and up through each of my chakras, up to the top of my head, which is the mauve chakra, and on out. And then I feel energized and I feel better. And when I feel like that, I thank Mother Earth for giving me this wonderful energy for my day, and then I go on with getting ready to go out to work. So there you are. There's my 4 steps. So the first one is about gaining greater insight about yourself so you can break through any barriers you might have to achieving your potential. Second, about having a soul map, which is almost like a quick shorthand of you and your life, and you can look at it any time of the day at moments of stress to help you to remember the insight and guidance you've got from wisdom from your inner self. I keep one on my desk to help me times when I'm feeling stressed, and I also keep one in my kitchen, because I always find in our family all those important but sometimes challenging conversations happen in my kitchen, so I keep one there too. The third step is about reflecting on your soul map, so it almost reiterates and boosts and reminds you of who you are and where you're trying to go in your life and how you're trying to improve it and how you're trying to achieve your potential. And then my fourth step is to try and get a regular meditation. As much as you can, as much as your life will allow, ideally daily. And it needs not to be a long, protracted affair. As I say, I love my chakra alignment and energizing as I get up in the morning. So there you are. That's the steps I've got and would advise on how to achieve your greatest potential. And really it's about knowing who you are and stepping into your own power so that you can get there, so you can achieve your highest potential and whatever that is. Thank you very much for listening today. Same time next week with another topic. Please drop me a comment. Let me know of any topics you would like me to talk about. It's really great if I get a topic from the audience. And in the meantime this week, have a look at my blog at yoursoulfamily.com. I've also got there some free soul map templates which you can download, print out and enjoy, deciding who your soul family members are and colouring the picture. Write on the lines to say what relationship is or what life lesson you might be learning through that relationship. It all helps you to achieve your greatest potential. So see you same time next week. Bye for now.